We are live, Melvin. How are you? Where did you go?
I'm back. Hi, Rachna.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good.
Are you excited as me?
I am pretty excited.
I am, so am I. Yeah. So I have Rohit here who is joining just to support me. Come here. And we'll just wait for people to join in who have registered.
I
That's
would.
Rohit. Thank you. Yeah. So you know it is very important, men in menopause. So he is definitely doing his part, whichever way he can, and he's here to support us.
Thank you. All the best.
Okay.
What I'm going to do, I want to make sure that both of us are live and we both of us are visible. Let's see, you are, and I'm going to pin myself. We both are pinned. Sometimes these logistics challenge me.
Absolutely. That's what happened to me trying to get on initially when I couldn't. But
Yeah.
that's all right. I am technologically challenged, but I'm
Yeah.
comfortable with that.
I'm sure there has to be some way that we
Look at
can
that.
come in. Yeah, of course. Of course. The idea is to have a conversation. The idea is to bring people more and more into this kind of conversation. And this conversation has to become normal. We can't be having the conversation like, oh my God, oh, the M word. It's not the M word. It is menopause. It is called menopause. So that's the idea.
Absolutely. I think it's an important thing to talk about for all adults, because somewhere along the line, someone knows somebody who's going through this.
Mm.
And I
Oh.
think it's important to normalize it,
Mm.
and especially for men to be more aware of how they can support their partners going through this. I think that's
Mm.
a very important component that we sort of at times overlook, I feel. We have doctors and all the other medical information out there, but no one's teaching men how to be present. And that's what interests me a lot.
So people should start coming and joining us now. Awesome. So I just want to welcome you, Melvin. So I want to welcome you and I want to thank you for saying yes, that you want to join the mission and take it forward, not only for women, not only for sisters or partners or wives. It is something that is required for everyone. This education is important. And when I say this education, I'm saying menopause or perimenopause, what it is all about. How does it impact you? How does it impact me? And what's the word which is called midlife? And people call it midlife crisis. It is very important that we understand that menopause or perimenopause is the start before you enter your midlife. This is such an important conversation because I did not get this conversation at all. I was not told how to prepare myself. There was no education available.
Yeah.
Every time I got up, I thought, am I going to survive today? And when I was delivering sessions in my workplace, my legs would tremble and I would panic and get an anxiety attack. And I would call my people from my workplace, I don't think I can manage it. And people were not aware what is happening. People did not know that does this need attention or it is just a phase of getting old. And it was very disheartening to note that people were just putting it under the rug and not giving that opportunity. You know how passionate I am when it comes to this, and I really want this conversation to become normal for everyone. I understand there are so many stats that we are going to discuss as we progress in the conversation and people start joining us. I would love you to share your point of view. I would love you to share with us how you are progressing in your life with your partner.
Hi, Rochelle. Thanks for
Hello.
joining us. Thank you for joining us.
I'm very excited about this conversation.
Absolutely. This is a conversation which is really required. And thank you so much for joining us. What is men doing in menopause? Or what can they do? What is the education required? What is the support required? And I want to thank you, Rochelle, for joining us, for saying yes, for taking out time for you, because there are so many people and there's so many things you could do at this point in time, but you decided to join us and joining the mission. So thank you for
Thank you,
being here.
Rochelle. Thank you for supporting what we are trying to do here. Rochelle, just before we start, I want to acknowledge you for being here, one, and supporting us. And Rachna, I want to acknowledge you for your strength in being present, putting yourself out there. And more importantly, the piece that you wrote on Facebook, that was absolutely inspirational. And when I gave it to Abby, my wife, to read it, she said, "That's me." And I can resonate with that because I saw her going through those symptoms and those feelings and those emotions. And that is one of the main reasons why I am here with you guys. And most people may say, what's a man got to do talking about menopause?
Everything. Everything. I said everything, Melvin.
And I believe that too. I really do believe that it is so important, not just, and narrow it down to men, to partners, to male work colleagues, female work colleagues, male leaders in a workplace, teenage kids. If they have even a small understanding of what women go through this transition of perimenopause and menopause and postmenopause. And one of the things I realized recently is that it helps the individual's personal growth when you're understanding what is happening. And now, as men, we have to develop a better sense of awareness, emotional intelligence, and emotional regulation to be able to support our partners. And all this, for me, has come about through my wife Abby's challenges and journey through perimenopause and now menopause.
So beautifully said.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melvin, because, and I want to acknowledge you, Melvin, for acknowledging me, because I felt I was alone in that journey. Because whenever I used to speak to someone, people didn't understand. They thought that I'm just making up in my head. At that, I have palpitations, and they said, "Oh, get your heart checked." And I said, "Oh my God, I feel trembling in my legs. Or it must be vitamin D," which is true. I'm not saying, I'm not negating that. Yes, everything is important, but it can't be I'm a woman, that's why you will get a heart disease, or you're a woman, you get osteoporosis. Who wants to hear that? If I were to tell, in next life, men are going to birth kids, oh my God, there would be a tsunami which will come in. Like, what? No, it's not going to happen. But there is a knowledge gap. The education gap is there. When I went to a doctor and I said, "Doctor, I feel that I don't belong to myself anymore." And my doctor said, "Take antidepressant." And I'm not saying doctors are wrong because they don't have the knowledge. They didn't have the knowledge, I must say. They were not educated. And I'm not saying it was their fault. But whose fault is it? Is it my fault that I'm a woman? Or is it Rochelle's fault that she is a woman? Or is it Melvin's fault that he's a man and he doesn't know? But there is a gap in education. And this is just the start of the start. I know today, 18th October, is getting celebrated in United States as a menopause education day. I'm so far away from celebration. It is so difficult. And Rochelle, Melvin, it is so difficult to get people on this live right now that join us, understand what is menopause. I am, and this is a challenge I'm challenging to every man who is in my connection. Come on, show up. This is the time we get together. and going to the pathway that leads us, shows us that women are deserving of love and attention and holding. And I can go on, I can rant in this live and podcast or webinar. But
I
I am the voice of all those women right now who are silently dying. I am appalled with the stats that 1 in 5 women, or maybe 4, my stats could be, they don't even know they're in perimenopause, just like me. I did not know. Diabetes, autoimmune diseases, diabetes is one of them. Aches is one of them. Arthritis, because they do not know how to regulate their health, and so much more. Divorces are going higher. I was going crazy and I said, I don't like you anymore, my husband. You don't understand me. And maybe some parts of it I still say that, but he doesn't know either. He doesn't know better. Who knows this? We have to take that stand. I'm daring every man who is listening or not listening or watching this. Come on, join us. It's high time that we start taking care of our women, our sisters, our daughters. We are preparing for a better future here.
absolutely, Rachna. Where my perspective is this, I feel any challenges that women face and they are advocating for themselves, right? Men should be standing alongside them, championing them for those challenges they are advocating for themselves. And there are numerous challenges that women advocate for themselves. But I am very keen where this challenge is concerned, because we need to make men understand that it is not just a woman issue. It's not just a wife issue or a partner issue or a work colleague issue. It is an encompassing thing. It is a relationship issue. Like you said, there are a certain percentage of women. In fact, there's a certain percentage of women opt for divorce or separation because it becomes challenging for them to deal with their partner's emotions and their lack of understanding, where at times men, because they are wired differently, they understand things differently and they show the emotions differently and expect emotions to be shown differently and throw in intimacy and all sorts of things. And that's where I believe resentment sets in. And with my understanding, and when I say understanding, having spoken to all parties and having read, having listened to conversations and podcasts and all this sort of stuff, and there is a lack of understanding on the subject, and especially when men are concerned. I'll give you an example right now. This book I purchased from a lady on Marketplace because I wanted to know more about it. And her partner came and handed it over to me. And I said, just wanted to ask you a question. How did you cope with your partner going through this? And he just turned around and I said, no, that's a woman issue. I didn't get involved. And that's what he told me. And that reinforced my eagerness, my enthusiasm, my passion, if you want to call it, to get involved in this deeper.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's important, and I think it's an important issue because it's not just a woman issue or a female issue. It is a partner issue. If it affects your partner, it affects your relationship. If you got kids, then it affects your kids. If something goes wrong and you separate. Another factor that came to mind was most women go through this at a very critical time in their careers. Yeah. At that time of their careers, they probably have teenagers who are growing up and dealing with their challenges becoming a teenager. Then they also have their parents who are at an older age. Yes? And Rachna is resonating with me. Good,
Yes.
that's good. So I'm on the right track in expressing myself and making men aware of what's going on and how encompassing this whole thing can be and how we need to be present. I only come from a place for myself. And when my wife, Abby, she started a journey 7 years ago and she's still in it. And through that journey, she had to quit a job, same job twice.
Wow.
And that is massive. That is debilitating. It messes up one's confidence.
Mm.
They lose all sorts of belief in themselves. And we've got to be present and be there as men to support them. Anybody can be present and support them. It can be your brother, your sister, your work colleagues. But most importantly, you go to your doctor, you go to a psychologist. All right, you spend 45 minutes with your psychologist. You spend 10-15 minutes with your doctor, and the doctor will tell the person who's going through perimenopause and menopause and then give them medication. But the amount of time you spend with your partner, your male colleagues in the house, in bed, when my wife is having anxiety attacks in bed, what do I do? How do I be present for her?
Right.
How do I hold her? How do I come back from work and I know she's cried whole day, and I grab onto her and hold her and allow her to cry without asking her a single question, because I have over time enlightened myself and gained knowledge on the subject of how I can present myself and how to be present. And that's what I am on about.
That's so beautiful, Melvin. And what I really love about what you've just described is how you are as a partner. You've used that word lots of times, but I think that's the word that maybe men underestimate for women. And I'm really early in my journey. And the thing for me is, I can't speak for all women, but I have chatted to lots of women. There's definitely a theme around this, what I'm about to share. It's what you just shared with us is how you've shown up for your partner as a partner. That word is so critical. And it doesn't have to be, the word partner doesn't have to be your intimate partner. It, as you were describing, Melvin, it can be, you can be partners in business, or it's partners in the journey.
Yeah.
And so being present as a partner in the journey for someone, I think, is the most beautiful thing, and the thing that I do appreciate and will appreciate as I go through my journey. And so I'd just love to celebrate you for showing up as a partner for your partner, because they're two slightly different things.
Thank you. And I think you just made me think of something. Actually, I'm not just showing up for my partner, I'm showing up for myself and my relationship and our relationship,
That's really
and
beautiful.
my well-being too. So I'm
Yeah.
showing up for all of us, because if I do not focus on that, there can be detrimental effects later on.
Yep.
That's what I want to convey, guys. Trust me, it is about you too.
Yeah.
May not be physically about you. There may be certain emotional aspects about you, but physically it's not about you, but it is about your relationship. It's about, if you love your partner, it's about love. It's about empathy. It's about care. And like I said, and you mentioned, anybody can be a partner. Your teenage child can be a partner. Your work colleague can be a partner. Your brother, sister, anybody can be a partner. Your friend.
Yeah.
And the first part of it is getting to know about it, learn about it, talk to people, talk to women. For me personally, I would go for a walk. And I remember I was going for a walk one day, and there were these two older ladies, grandmothers, who came to watch their grandson play cricket. And I was passing by, and I was going for a long walk. Actually, I dropped my wife to the shopping center. She wanted to do some shopping, and I went for a walk. And I said, I greeted them. And then I said, do you mind if I ask you guys some questions? It may be a bit personal, but this is the place I'm coming from. And I told them, my wife is going through perimenopause and menopause, and I just want to know a bit more about it, and just want to know a bit about your journey on how I can support my wife. And they were so open, and they acknowledged me for wanting to gain some more knowledge on the subject. And then they told me their journey, but in between the journey, they told them their husband didn't help them at all. There was another time I went for a blood test or something, and I just connected with this lady who was a supervisor. I said, when we finish, can I have a 5-minute chat with you? And she said, yeah, sure. And we sat down for 5 minutes, and I told her what my journey is and my wife's journey, and what I'm working on as a coach and stuff like that, and how my aim is to coach men to understand what perimenopause and menopause is and how they can be present for their wives. I mean, and there's so many ways. There's so many ways. And we won't get it right all the time. Sometimes we need to be prompted. Sometimes we need to be told, hey, you're stuffing up. Keep quiet. Don't talk. Just listen.
Well said, Malvin. And I'm supremely grateful that you are doing what you're doing because not only feel for your partner, you feel for yourself and you're taking that responsibility because most of us don't want to take that responsibility that I can understand my woman, I can take care of her, I can look after her. So that is so beautiful. And Abby, if you're listening to us, and I want to just share, you beautiful, and so is Melvin, because what we are doing right now is a movement. And this movement is not going to be just here. We are going ahead with this. Whatever it takes, we are going ahead. So thank you so much, Melvin. And hi, Sneha, for joining in.
Hi, Sneha.
Yeah.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here. And I know you have taken our time
Abby
to
wants to
join
join
us.
in too.
Hey, Abby!
Hi. You
So
guys,
nice that you're here.
you guys are amazing.
Thank you.
I just wanted to come here and actually I say I love him and I thank him, but he is one person that's made me go through this he's been there throughout.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No
You are the man.
disrespect, no disrespect to anyone. I know
Of
you guys
course.
love your wives, your partners, your moms, whoever, but just have him help you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So true.
Thank
That
you.
was such a heartfelt share, Abby, and I so want to acknowledge you. Thank you for jumping in because this means a lot, and this will give courage to many other women to come and in front and stop being silent because time is done.
Yes.
We don't want to be silent anymore. We just want to move forward, and it's our time. So, thank you so much, Abby, for
God
saying
bless you guys. You're doing
that.
amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to acknowledge also, Rochelle, what you just mentioned that when you go into the journey and what you acknowledge Melvin for, it goes to show that this is important for us, not just for you, not just for our family, but for our community, because that's where we belong, right? That's who we want to be. We want to help each other. And we don't want our families to suffer because of this, because of the lack of knowledge. And I wonder, and I'm very curious, Melvin, because we are here, and I just want to share a few bits and pieces so that our audience and listeners can benefit from it. We know that menopause is not sudden. Perimenopause is the earlier stage to menopause. And perimenopause, as long as I remember, and the stats tell us, it can last up to anywhere between 7 to 10 years or more, depending on the ethnicity where you come from. In Australia, most women become menopausal naturally anywhere between their early 40s to 55, depending on their medical history and other medical conditions. And I just want to have a disclaimer here. We are not doctors here. We are menopause enthusiasts. We are educators. This is our own experience that we are sharing it. And we want people to come out and ask good questions from their doctors. Ask for their right, what is right. This is a global requirement. It is just not for me, just not for Australia, but a global requirement that we come out and start talking about it and have a normal conversation. Sneha is pretty young and she will resonate with me because she's young, she's far away from being menopause. But if she starts taking care of herself right now, today, she may not have things that I have faced or people are facing: anxiety, panic attacks, palpitations, tremors, brain fog, and the list goes on. There are about 32 symptoms. Sleep apnea is one of them. People think that snoring is normal. No,
Itchy
snoring is not
skin,
normal.
itchy skin,
Itchy skin.
bloating, joint
Exactly.
pains,
Exactly.
inability to pronounce certain words, uh, crying, crying.
Exactly. I have cried so many times in the morning, and Rohit will come and sit with me. What happened? I don't know. I have no idea why I'm crying. And there is so much more to understand in this. So, my question to you, Melvin, just so that our listeners and whosoever is watching gives them the confidence, and maybe for Sneha as well, what is it that we need to look after ourselves? How does it begin? What are some symptoms that can tell us that we are in progressing into perimenopause? I know I come from India, and from India the woman can get into their perimenopause as early as 35. I'm one of them. I'm the example. So I did get into perimenopause at age 35, and I was thinking, what is happening, and am I gonna die? I want you to tell us, according to you, what are the symptoms, early symptoms, and what and how men can help and contribute? Because women are going through this and they don't make a sense out of it. But how, as a partner, you can show up, and those are the symptoms they can tap in. And we don't want to hear, you're a woman, you must be PMSing. I don't want to hear, I don't want any woman to hear that.
Absolutely.
But what is it, how they can contribute and show up? And Rochelle and Sneha, jump in. If any of it is resonating, jump in and ask questions so that we can contribute to the bigger community so that they feel confident in asking good questions. Thank you.
Personally, there are so many ways men can contribute or anybody can contribute. Let's focus on from a man's perspective, and let's narrow it down to a partner in a relationship. One is, with my experience, Abby was not feeling right, like you mentioned, Roshna, and she kept telling me, I'm not feeling myself. There's something not right. There's something not right. In fact, before this, she was talking in her sleep.
Wow.
And I found that funny. And again, I'll share this. She was talking to her nieces and nephew and a mom who are back in Pakistan. And I thought to myself, she's missing them. And in her sleep, she was asleep and I was talking to her and she was answering back as though she's talking to them. I found that humorous and I was teasing her about it. I still don't know whether that's any of the symptom or what, but that's where my recollection comes. And then after that, she started telling me that she's not feeling the same in her body because Abby's pretty comfortable with who she is. And she basically looks after herself quite well. So something's not right, she'll come and tell me things that I wouldn't think about. She'll come and tell me, say, I'm just telling you because I need you to know if there's something goes wrong. And that happened for some time. And she's always been a person, when she's has periods, she faints on and off. And that was, for me, was concerning. And then we went to the doctor. And again, you're talking about how we can be present. I'll just throw it in here that you can be present by going to all the appointments that you can where this thing is concerned with your partner. And again, you made a disclaimer. I shall make a disclaimer. First, I am not a medically trained practitioner in anywhere or a psychologist or anything in anywhere. And neither am I a female to know everything about the symptoms and the emotions, especially the emotions involved with this. And I don't claim to know it at all. I can just support with empathy. So the doctor said, no, it's not. And somebody had mentioned it to my wife. I think you're going through perimenopause. We went to the doctor and the doctor said, no, you're not. You're too young for that. You're too young for that. And then we started reading about the symptoms. I started reading. I started getting books like this and stuff like that and started reading a bit about it, listening to different people, like even in Australia right now. I don't know whether you guys heard of Ali Dado. She's written a book called
Queen of
Queen
Menopause.
Menopause, and she's got a podcast, and there's a few
Yep.
American podcasts, gynecologists and doctors who talk about this. I started listening to all of that, and somehow or the other, all the information was sort of connecting as far as perimenopause were concerned.
Yeah.
And then also the information was there that when doctors go into do the medical training, there's a very small aspect that they study on perimenopause and menopause.
Yeah.
Anyway, we started seeing the doctor. Even the doctor was trying to put her on anxiety tablets, and he did not pinpoint that it was perimenopause.
Yeah, same.
And
Yeah.
all the symptoms were there. And you read, and then we understood. And Abby was seeing a very renowned, internationally renowned doctor from Melbourne, who was probably at one stage the president or the secretary of the Australian Menopause Society. And she could not track it down because when she sent her for all the different blood tests, the blood test, depending on what stage of the hormone levels it's taken, was coming normal. But
Yeah.
all the symptoms were that Abby and myself read about, and I had read about, and I was at times telling Abby, this is it. That's how I got to know about it. And then we understood what was going on. Eventually, it took a long time. And even the doctor said, you're a very complex case, she told Abby, because her symptoms were so severe.
Severe. Yeah.
Very, very severe.
Yeah.
And no one could actually, she tried 2-3 different physicians to try and help her with this. I just tried to be there along her side as much as I could, listen to her, be attentive. There would be times, and she's been at home whole day and the weather was good, come back, and I know she's not in a good place. I said, okay, drop what you're doing. Let's
Yeah.
go for a drive. I'd make her sit in the car, take her for a drive. And as soon as she would sit in the car, she said she would ask me, is it okay if we don't talk?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, that's fine. That'll be okay. Absolutely. And we would just drive, put music on. She would look outside the window. I would just hold her hand and just drive. Do that for 1 hour, come back,
Yeah.
and she'll be feeling better. And these are the symptoms. And she was going through irregular bleeding, fainting, anxiety. And because you speak to people, you listen to people, and you read up on it, you seem to connect the dots, and then you can be present, and you can, even if you don't understand it, you understand a bit about it, you can say that it's okay, I'm here. That's how I got to know about it. And that's why when I use the word emotional regulation, there's three things: develop some knowledge, get some knowledge about the subject.
Yeah.
You don't have to understand progesterone and estrogen and all the chemical things that happen with the thing. And there's a lot of things that happen, and understand the chemical imbalance. You don't need to understand that. If you're not that way inclined as a man, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it does not absolve you. And this is what I say. As a man, it does not absolve you of knowledge to be able to support your partner just because we are wired differently. It is
Yeah.
not a woman's issue.
Well said.
And that's the place that I came from and presented. And again, I must say that I didn't get it right all the time. I had to be prompted.
Congratulations on being human. Can I just take a minute here, Melvin, because I really want our listeners to take benefit from it. What I heard, and correct me if I heard too much, the most basic thing anybody as a man you could do for your partner is what I continuously heard is be present. Be present to her and listen. She's not making up in her head. There is something which is changing in her body, and it's not something which we face every day. It is a major transition period where we don't feel ourselves. So if partners become present and they listen to what is happening rather than gaslighting, that's it. Go to the doctor or go to a psychiatrist or psychologist. It's not going to help. Well, for few people it will, but if they become present to them, it is definitely going to make a difference, a huge difference. Did I get that right? The first one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And the second thing you suggested, books. You started reading books. Of course, nobody has to understand all the chemicals and all the hormones which in a body, in a woman's body, are there. But there's one common which is there in men. It will be good to know for them as well. It is important for them to have a basic knowledge how the estrogen or progesterone or testosterone, they're having a party, they are actually acting like a rock star, they don't know what they're doing, and they're just having mess around. Like little kids will have mess around. This is how our hormones are messing around in our brain. Brain has receptors for estrogen, and if we are not getting it, our brain finds it so uncomfortable. What is happening? What is happening? Why I don't feel the way I feel? And that's the very biggest reason we're having anxiety or panic attacks, because we are not feeling, we are not getting that kind of, and estrogen, progesterone is creating havoc. That's the basic. There is much more detail available. You can follow. I will list down in our links what are the podcasts to watch, what are the books to watch, who you can follow, what are the doctors and Australian Menopause Society as well. They're great help. They're specialists in this. You can get help from there. Ask good questions. I have a list of questions which I will. And third, the most important thing you mentioned is, other than being present and upgrade your knowledge and understand, being in partnership with your partner does not mean that you're doing more. You're still doing the basic stuff. Be a partner, become the partner who you're meant to be, because that's what it makes it whole and complete. Is that right?
Absolutely, because you are, there is, like I said, you become a better person. You grow as a person. You learn emotional regulation. That helps you not just with your partner, it helps you in your workplace. It helps you in how you deal with other human beings in a challenging situation.
Yeah.
It teaches you empathy again when you're dealing with somebody else. It may not be anything to do with perimenopause or menopause. You've taught yourself the art of being empathetic, being patient, being tolerant, being attentive. Listen attentively. Don't listen to reply. And we all tend to do that sometimes. We deviate from that. But
Yeah.
if an awakening has been set in place, you will build on that. If a man realizes, okay, my wife's going through this, or a partner, my partner's going through this, and it is affecting her in this way, and I love her, and I want to do whatever I can with my limited awareness and or ability to be present. That's you.
And we don't need fixing. We need understanding. We need partnership. I'm,
Yeah.
as it is, going through a lot of confusion, panic, grief, losing my identity. And I'm like, oh my God, this man who I used to love doesn't understand me. Am I going through a life which is not something that I'm hoping for? And that's an important reason men are not present in the relationship. They don't understand, and the divorce rates are going high. Just that simple presence and understanding can make a huge difference. Just like you, Melvin, what you're doing and what you're demonstrating and what you're coaching to people will make such a huge difference. Like when I come and help people out, what they can do and emotionally regulate themselves, oh my God, there's a massive difference that we can do. And what you're doing is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
Rochelle,
you.
your hand is
Thank
up.
you.
Yes.
Is because I've got a question for you, and that is, both of you have shared lots of information. Some of it is personal to you, but one of the things that I had, I had no, you don't have any idea until you have an idea about what this is, right? Well, that's been my experience. And so, like you, Melvin, as I started to get an idea, I got even more curious about, okay, what is this thing? Where am I sitting in it? And all of that. And so I wonder whether either one of you or whether both of you have just a quick tip sheet, both for men and women, to help them understand, like, what are the most common symptoms that you could share. And especially, like, I work workplace, and more of the conversations that I might have around this would be in a workplace. Yeah, we have a tip sheet around symptoms, like who to go into, and any other, like tips for being present and how to show up.
Is it okay, Melvin, if I take this question? Is that
Sure,
okay?
absolutely.
Thank you. First of all, thank you so much, Rochelle, for asking this question, because this is a very common question that people would ask or not ask. What are the common symptoms? So there are about 32 common symptoms, and I have the list ready. It's a free gift from my side and Melvin's side to all people. We are going to share it in the link, and
Awesome.
I'll share it with people. Other than the 32 symptoms, what was the second thing you asked?
What are the key things that people need to know? Like, if there's one place that we can just get at least the highlights, and I get that it's so complex and different people have different experiences, so it's really hard to cover everything. But for people that have really maybe only just heard about the word, what are those big headline things that will help people understand what menopause is, what the stages are, and what we can experience? So that's where like the tips come in around the common symptoms and stuff.
Beautiful. Excellent question. And for this very purpose, I have created a scorecard on understanding, do you understand what stage you are of menopause?
Very cool.
So, or maybe just the education. Do you know what is menopause? When does it start? And that is another resource which is available and we are sharing with people absolutely as a gift. Go utilize it. And another resource is what to ask the doctor.
Yeah.
What are the questions? So, for example, my cholesterol level went up, and doctor said, "Oh my God, you might get a heart disease," which is true. In some shape or manner, it is true. It can contribute to that. But hey, my hormones are fluctuating and cholesterol will go up. If you educate me, I can do my lifestyle changes. So, there is a booklet that I have created which has everything. What are the questions you can ask? What are the stages of perimenopause, menopause? When does it start? What to look out? What are the symptoms? And how can you self regulate yourself?
Oh, fantastic. That
So
sounds
that's a
awesome.
book. Thank you. And I'm so grateful to you, Rochelle, for asking this because this is something that people need. And this is something that we want to offer it to people. Educate yourself, share it with people who don't, and have this a conversation like you will have a conversation. What do you want to watch today? Or what book are you reading? It's normal conversation. Let's not hide it as a M conversation. And you will be surprised, Rochelle, that most of the women don't talk about it because they think, oh my God, this is something of getting older. Yes, it
Yeah.
is also getting wiser. And if we don't look after ourselves, you are definitely heading towards being older. This is your chance to live your life in the most healthy manner. I know how to regulate myself. And that's where Melvin and I come and play a role where we help and educate people through our sessions. I trust this answer your question, Rochelle.
Oh, it does. That's awesome. And the other thing that came to my mind as you were talking about having conversations and making those conversations normal is I have a 12-year-old daughter and she's just gone through at school conversations around your menstrual cycle and what it means to become an adult and go through puberty. I don't think they talked about menopause in that conversation. And so what I'm reflecting now is actually I'm going to go and have a chat to my 12-year-old and talk to her and say, okay, so you got this much of the conversation, but there's some more to that conversation because it's actually about our whole lives, not just that short part of it.
Rochelle, that is 1/3 of her life. I have a dream that I want to jump with my grandkids. Can I jump with my grandkids? Looking at the past, I don't think so. There were people, I have aunties who would always have, oh my God, I have joint pain. Oh my God, I can't move my shoulders. My mother was one of them. And I feel sad that they did not have the knowledge. They could have been protected by that. They did not have to go through in silence. Welcome to old age. Yes, I want to get old. I want to get old as a beautiful human being where I have the capacity to learn everything. Again, like Rochelle, you also mentioned that it's only requires education. Rest is your choice. Well,
Yeah.
I cannot force everyone. No, you had to. At least I should have a choice to know about myself and educate myself. I'm so passionate, you can see on that, because my daughter was directly impacted by it. I would cry. She's asking me simple question, Mama, can I have my dinner? Oh, no, I can't because I don't know what's going on. It was hard, but now we understand we are one unit. It makes so much easier.
Beautiful.
When
Yeah,
you
thank
asked,
you so much.
Rochelle, you were asking about symptoms. I think most people, especially men, when you talk to them about symptoms that the wives go through, say, yeah, she gets hot flushes and she's got mood swings, so I just try to
Oh
stay
God.
away. But like I said, there's like Rachna was saying, there's 32 to 34 symptoms, and there are so many. So even if you just know the list of symptoms, be it the person going through this and the person who's trying to support you, and you'll both know the list of symptoms, and you'll go to the doctor. You can advocate for yourself. This is what I'm feeling. These are the symptoms. You are forcing them to look in a certain direction.
Yep.
And that's what we did. Because there are things that it's not normal, like you say. It is irregular bleeding, hot and cold flushes, hair loss, itchy skin, dry mouth. It's painful when you're being intimate. What they call bloating, if I didn't mention that. It's so many. And if you know these symptoms, say you know this, you just get a list of 34 symptoms. Go to the doctor. This is what I'm feeling. These are the things I'm feeling. You're starting to advocate for yourself now. The doctor knows you mean business. Don't take an anxiety tablet and don't take it. When I say, I'm not saying don't take it, but get them to, because what my understanding is more often than not, and Roshni can probably jump in here, is the first thing they think that you're going through your stages, what women go through, and they try to give you an anxiety tablet or a depression tablets. You
Yeah.
can advocate for yourself. And I'm not saying they'd be wrong in certain cases. I'm not a professional, but let's stop and think. Let's
Yeah.
stop and have the conversation. Let's stop and analyze these symptoms, 32, 34, whatever symptoms there is. Let's analyze it. How many of it are you feeling? You were
Yeah.
not feeling this before. When did this start? What do you remember of it? Because different women go through different symptoms and at a different level of severity. Yeah. Like Roshan said, we are all, even women's bodies are different, right? And some women go through it very smoothly. And I've spoken to family members, friends, and said, no, I didn't feel anything. It was fine for me. I just know that my period stopped. Have that conversation.
So true. Thank you, Melvin. I am so forever grateful to you for coming up and sharing with us what are the basics of being present and what can be done and how we can make a difference. As we're coming close to the session, which is going to be ended very soon, I'm wondering, once we have understood that there are a lot of women who are going in silence and they do not know they are in perimenopause, for which we are going to share a tracker. They understand a scorecard, they understand if they are in or they're not, how does it start, what are the symptoms, and what are the questions they can ask from their doctor. And I don't want any of you to feel that way. Be smart and be curious about your health because you matter. All of you about you matter and you are important. I hope this lands well. And second, recommendation on books and podcast that Melvin and I will share. Hi.
It's really good to know these things, to be honest, because I'm far away from
Yeah.
menopause
Yeah.
and I'm not even like showing any symptoms. But it is
Yeah.
so good to know well in advance because my cousin, my sister, they're
Yes.
already in the age that they will
Yeah.
literally go. I hear from them and I feel that, oh my God, I don't want to go to that phase and then know about it. I want
Yeah.
to know well in advance. And
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, let's start hearing out from you first.
Thank you so much, Sneha, for saying that out loud because there's so many women. When we were talking about this, oh, it's an old age problem. We don't have to worry. It is not a problem. We can absolutely help ourselves not going through all those symptoms. As long as we change our lifestyle, we women don't have protein in our food. How's that for a knowledge? Have protein, have seeds, and all the natural things are available in the whole wide world. There is an option for us to live our happy, absolute light hormones. Even if we are losing hormones, our body is so smart, so intelligent to just maintain it somehow. And there are evidences available. I'm not saying there are women who would not need HRT. Of course, go for it. If you're one of those who need it, please, because that could be a savior. And there are so many doctors who will help you on that journey. And there are people like me who went into the pathway of self regulation on lifestyle, strength training. Oh
Oh,
my God. People don't know that they have to go for strength training. I did not know. Excuse me, you don't put on muscles so soon. You have to work for 10 years for that muscles to show up. Or maybe if you're really dedicated. But hey, strength training is like water for us. We have to have. Sneha, I'm sure you know water is so important for us, but we don't drink water because we don't know
True.
the importance of it. How, at this age, after the age of 35, why do we need to regulate? Simple things.
and
And I'm
they
so grateful to you, Sneha, that you mentioned it. You said it. So I'm so grateful.
they say, especially not only for women, even for men, after a certain age, it is
Exactly.
important to build muscle and maintain your muscle mass. You don't have to be absolutely muscular, but you have to try and maintain because you lose your muscle mass. And that's where, especially for women, they deal at a certain age with osteoarthritis and osteoporosis and stuff like that. You have your breakages. And one of the things that came across that when somebody breaks the hip because of osteoporosis or osteoarthritis, their lifespan decreases, and muscle itself decreases your lifespan. Then there's sleep, getting proper rest, eating correctly, like Roshna mentioned, and then find the right supplements. These four things, I think you may not eliminate the symptoms, but you will ease some of the symptoms at least. And anything that helps that doesn't have a adverse effect, go for it.
Thank you. It was like detail for sure. Thank you.
I'm so grateful. And thank you, Melvin. That was beautiful. And Rochelle and Sneha, do you have any questions for us that will help our community, our people around us, and tell us that this is so important? This education is so important, and we can make it normal. Women who are young don't have to feel, oh my God, this is so scary. I don't want to be that age, because it's not. I have turned around, and there's so many women who are turning it around because there is chance, there is a possibility, and it is possible. So I would love to hear from both of you. What do you think will help? What else can we do? Over to you. Anyone?
I think continuing the conversation. So taking every opportunity to talk to people. As I said, I'm going to have a chat with my 12-year-old daughter because it's right now. And so maybe taking those opportunities when they come up to open a conversation. I know at work, my boss has hot flushes and also was very emotional over something that happened a month ago, very rightly so, what happened with her. And I really felt for her because she was just apologizing. We work in a very male dominated environment. But what really impressed me, but I think we've got another level to go, gentlemen, is that there was no ridicule of her. Like the men in our organization were compassionate towards her. I didn't hear anything that was critical or negative about how emotional she had been or her hot flushes or anything like that. So I was really impressed with that. As Melvin said, though, I think the next level is they could have engaged in dialogue. So the reaction was not negative, but it wasn't as present as what it could be. And so I think there's another level of acknowledgement, verbal acknowledgement, and conversation that can be had even in workplaces because it's not a normal conversation yet, but it's getting there.
You
Thank you.
said it. It's not a normal
Conversation
conversation
with.
yet, but it can. And I'm so grateful to your organization because they are making it normal. They are making it more comfortable for women like me, for women like all of us who are there in the world. Because I don't know if you know this or I shared this, about 46% of women leave workplace because they don't know what is happening. They don't know how to regulate their symptoms. They just think they're going crazy, they become snappy, and people also come back and say, why don't you take some leaves? And if this is an education we go out and give it to organizations or corporates, it'll make a huge difference. So thank you so much, Rochelle.
When you said
Yes.
leave work, it also affects their retirement. It affects their superannuation because their inability to work for a certain period. By the time they retire, they have less money in their superannuation. Besides that, even companies overall lose money because they do not have a proper structure of keeping the skilled staff in their jobs. So they got to go back and start training people. Can you imagine if it's happening all around? They lose billions of dollars. I had some statistics with me that a country can lose billions of dollars because of the symptoms that women go through and not being able to attend work or give up their jobs and retraining people. And then, as far as their retirement fund is concerned, having not enough money to sustain them. So there's so many things that are connected that people don't realize.
Wow. Well said. Thank you, Melvin. Yes, that's an eye opener. Sneha, what would you like to add?
I think the early precautions, I would say, precaution in terms of what you should be changing in your lifestyle, which you
Yeah.
said already, add the strength training and look after yourself well in advance. So when you will start showing the symptoms, you will know that what is happening, and you can have your like other healthy lifestyle or changes in your lifestyle can actually help you as well.
Oh,
Oh
yes.
my God. Yes to education, yes to looking after ourselves. Because, hey, girls, hey, partners, protein is equally important for women. And especially in this transition period, we need more protein. We need more strength training. We need more food, which is helpful and easy on our gut as well. Please share in comments what are you taking away, what did you like, and what would you like to see more. And special grateful and thanks to Rochelle and Sneha for jumping and supporting us and making this conversation so easy and beautiful so that it can reach millions and millions of people to make this normal conversation. Thank you so much. Thank
For
you.
putting this up and for your passion in spreading this knowledge that you want to spread and helping people. And I really acknowledge you for being present and your passion and organizing this and wanting to keep pushing forward with this. That's absolutely wonderful.
And how can I not acknowledge you, Melvin, for jumping and saying yes to this and being so passionate that men in menopause is important. Men in menopause can make so much difference in our lives because as women, we are going crazy. We don't know what is going on, but your support means the world to us. And it can make so much difference in family setup, in connections, and we can make it our happily ever after. So thank you for creating happily ever after for
Thank
yourself
you.
and for your family. Thank you, Rochelle. Thank you, Sneha. And I'm
You-
trusting this conversation may be available on Facebook, but Melvin, you are my rock star. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you, ladies. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you,
Enjoy. Thank
Rachna.
you
Thank
so
you,
Thank
much.
you.
Melvin. See you,
Rachna. Thank
See
Sneha.
ya.
you.
Thank you. And
Let's
thank
keep
you to
talking.
everyone who is watching on Facebook. Thank you.
That was wonderful, Rachna.